Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of Friday Night Lights. So happy to be with you guys on this Friday night. Thank you for bearing with us with the delay. Obviously, there's a little technical difficulties at the beginning of this stream, but we're happy to be with you now. I'm happy to be with my guys, Tommy and Mike. Tommy, how you doing tonight?
Good, bro. Good. Yeah, man. Hey, stuff like that happens, brother.
Absolutely.
Sometimes
Stuff like that.
technology is a bitch.
That's right.
It's a,
That's
it's a
right.
fickle beast, that technology.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see some people in house. Chance Sports, how you doing, Mike?
Hey, what up, Jared?
How you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. It's Friday night. It's been a long week of work, and now we get to sit down and talk some Buffalo Bills. How do you not get excited about that?
I tell you what, I texted you guys earlier today, and I was just like, we have to do this tonight because not only was it on the schedule, but man, I just really needed this today. Again, after a long week, Mike, I agree with you. So we're going to talk some Buffalo Bills football, a little behind the eight ball, obviously, with everything going on today. Scott Blakely is in the house. Glad to see that he can join us live. I think this is the first time he's joining us live since we started Friday Night Lights. So it's really good to see that we're doing good. Jan's glad to see you're doing well as well. So there are a few things on the agenda. This is the first time that we've gotten together since the schedule release, so we'll talk about that, obviously. Talk about Buffalo Bills rookie camp. Not too much to talk about there, but still some things to keep you updated on. And then we know that Paul and Mario did a show earlier this week. I believe it was yesterday that came out, Mike, if I'm mistaken. Yep. Yeah, yesterday came out doing some over-unders. So Mike took those questions, and he's going to get our opinions. So very good show for you guys tonight. And again, if you're joining us live, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you're not joining us live, hit that thumbs up button anyhow. And next time, in 2 weeks on Friday, when we do this again, join us live. It is a great time. So let's talk about the Buffalo Bills schedule. That's where we'll get started. And Mike, I want to get your opinions first. What is something that really sticks out to you? Tommy, I know you're excited about something, so we'll get to you in a minute. But Mike, what's something that really sticks out to you?
So I'll tell you, Joe, Tommy and I did a show this past Monday, and we did our way too early schedule predictions.
Okay.
And Tommy has us going 17-0.
Well, of course he does.
so sometime tonight, I want to run down and get your too early prediction too. But what sticks out to me, the primetime games, right. the solo games, because although we have 2 at home, 4 on the road, we have the option of 2 more at home that could be flexed later in the year. So we start with 6 really key solo games. That's not even including the 425 game with the Chiefs on CBS that most of the country is going to get. But then we have the option for the 2 extra. So that we could see the Bills on TV, in like solo highlighted games 8 times this year before the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Tommy, I know you won that first game of the season at Los Angeles playing the Rams, so you must have been excited to see that.
Oh, dude. I didn't think we were because of they said it's very rare that a team gets a Thursday night and a Monday the following. But listen, the NFL knows the deal. They knew we should have probably been there against the Rams. The whole Von Miller coming to Buffalo, there's just a lot to it. It is the best game that they could put on. You're going to see a hell of a show. Josh Allen in beautiful weather. He's going to thrive in that game. Von Miller's going to want to, show them something, and and we want to spoil their Super Bowl, little parade they're going to do there on opening night. So yeah, it's super excited. I'm super excited for the Monday night game. The only thing that's funky is that I was talking to Mikey. So 6 primetime games and 2 of them are at home, 4 on the road. So it's like they didn't do us much favors there, but it's cool. We got to handle the business anyways. But yeah, 2 out of 6 at home, man.
Yeah, and like Mike said, we could get another home primetime game in there at some point as well.
Sure.
Before we go any further, Scott Blake comes in with a $9.99 donation super chat. Thank you very much, Scott, for that. I'm still laughing at Tommy's 17-0 prediction pod. But honestly, I'm on the record saying 20-0, breaking Finn's 72 record. Cheers, guys. Listen, and people forget that the team closest to beating the Dolphins that season was the Buffalo Bills. I think we lost to them by 1 point in our second meeting, something like that. So if anyone's going to break that record, it should be the Buffalo Bills, and we'll see if it happens this year. I think it's a tough division, tough conference to do that this year, but you never know what's going to happen. Guys, the thing that sticks out most to me is that game at Carolina, August 26th, that preseason. Just kidding. No, honestly, what sticks out to me, actually, and Tommy brought it up, I mean, the Bills start the season off with a mini bye week, right? Like, you look at week 1 at LA, Thursday night, and then we don't play again until Monday night on September 19th against the Titans. I think that super rare. You know, we talk about, I think it's a week 7 bye week as well. So that does mean that the end of the season is going to be rough, right? We really want that bye week to start the playoffs, right? Because you look at the final 10 games of the season, even the last 2 at Cincy, then against New England, very tough games to end on the season. So we would love to get that number 1 overall seed and get that bye week if we can. I feel like that's very important. So I unfortunately didn't have time this week to catch the podcast. So I heard Tommy's prediction 17-0. Mike, what is your?
I have us going 14-3.
Okay.
And I will tell you another piece of what you were just saying about the bye week and that long break. Between week 13 and 14, they're going to have 10 days off because they're going to play, Thanksgiving Thursday night game, back-to-back Thursday night games with the Patriots. And then they're going to have 10 days before they get to the Jets. So although our bye week's in week 7, we're going to have that long break between week 13 and 14 to help give them a few extra days, which is nice.
Now, I will also say that before that, we play 2 games in 4 days, though. So, between the Sunday night game and then the Thanksgiving game. I also did want to bring that up. We've played 3 Thanksgiving games in 4 years now. Like, that's something. That's something that the NFL is recognizing. Mario still has 9-7-1. I still remember that 9-7. Oh, poor Mario. He'll never live that down. He will never live that down. But here's the truth. Here's what worries me about week 1, and I know I'm probably reading into this a little too much. But for the NFL is rigged crowd, it's rare that the away team comes into the defending Super Bowl champ stadium and wins opening week. So check this out. Since 2006, so that's what? Actually, I'll go back even further. Since 2003, as I'm looking this up right now, since 2003, only 3 away teams have won opening day. That's crazy to me, and that speaks to the fact that the NFL wants the celebration to kind of continue in the home team's favor. Tommy, what do you think about my crazy theory?
I was too busy messing with you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm so sorry. What's the question again, brother?
All right. So since 2003, so we're talking 18 years, only 3 away teams have won the opening game of the NFL season. So I've always said, listen, the NFL wants the Super Bowl champions to kind of have that good feeling, right? Like you have the banner presentation, you talk, and then of course they want you to win the game because it makes everyone go home happy because you're the home team. So that's kind of what scares me about week 1. Do you think there's something to that, or do you think I'm just blowing smoke?
No. It's just the way it's gone. But
Sure.
I think that 3 is going to be a 4 now. Because I don't see us losing to the Rams. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think ultimately we are the better team, in my opinion. And I honestly, Joe, in my opinion, there's better teams than the Rams this season in general. Like I believe that. So, but we will handle business, and that will go to number 4 now on that thing that you put up there. That's stat. So
yeah. Now I will say that there have been 2 since 2017, so that kind of goes in our favor. Well, Mike, do you think I'm onto something, or do you think that's just a coincidence?
I I mean, normally they put them, they open that game up and they give the champions that soft ass schedule. The Rams don't have that soft ass schedule this year, and not only that, but they're like, oh, this should have been the Super Bowl game. Here you go. Try to beat the Bills. Good luck. However, if you're gonna get the Bills, you want to get them in Week 1 because we notoriously have started slow every year.
Sure.
So, a couple of years ago, it took us a while to get going against the Jets.
Yeah.
Last year, the Steelers ended up getting us because we started slow. So we better come out. We better come out of the gates fast this year, or the Rams have a chance to get us.
And maybe that's a good thing, right? Because you look at that the talk about the Steelers last season. Going into the season, the Steelers were like, they're not that good this year. 2 years ago, the Jets. Listen, they're the Jets. We should win that game, right? So maybe going up against the Super Bowl champions is the edge the Bills kind of need to say, no, we're doing this every game. We're coming in hard and we're playing our best starting from the beginning. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if it is a continuous slow start or if the Bills just play down to the competition to start the season.
But I will say this, and that's a true statement by Mr. Mikey, by the way. Mm-hmm. We don't have Dable here anymore, who's notorious for these terrible starts and these terrible second halves. We got a guy now from the U who knows what he's doing, guys. No need to worry.
That's the real reason why Tommy has him going 17-0. We have an offensive coordinator from the U, so you know that's going to happen. All right, so Tommy has us going 17-0. Mikey has us going 14-3. Is that what you said, Mike?
Yep.
All right. So in the comment section right now, we know it's early, we know it's crazy, but let us know what your prediction is. Scott wants Tommy to give us a score prediction for week one.
Week 1.
It's always in the 40s, Scott. It's always in the 40s. Honestly, week 1 in LA in that beautiful stadium, honestly, man, Josh Allen's going to thrive. I'm going to say, I'm going to say it's going to be 43-27. No, 43-23. I think they get some garbage touchdown at the end. 43-23.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll believe when I see
it. They didn't light up the Bengals. I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay, I'm not that crazy.
Here are some predictions for us right now. We got 14-3. JPS comes in 12-5.
The score of game 1. May.
Well, I mean, it's late May. That helps, right?
Come on, man.
All right. Hey, I'll roll with you, Bubba.
We have to give the nation what they want. The nation asked for a score prediction. He gave us a score prediction. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so
I'm sure that question was more tongue in cheek. Hey, Tommy, it's gonna be 49-13, right?
No.
Wink, nod.
Scott means it when he says it. All right, so I'm looking at the schedule real quick, looking down wins and losses. I'm looking at 13-4 is probably what my prediction is going to be. Again, this is a really tough conference. We have some really tough road games, right? You look at KC on the road. You look at Baltimore on the road. Now, Baltimore losing their biggest weapon, I think, will hurt them a lot. But the Rams, of course, on the road. You got some tough road games in the schedule. The Bengals at the end of the year on the road. And plus, maybe we have things locked up towards the end of the season, right? Have the division locked up, have our seeding locked up. Who knows how much we're going to play that game against New England? Me personally, I hope we play a whole game because I hope we have a bye week the following week, and I don't want our team going into the playoffs rusty. But at the same time, you just don't know what the game plan is going to be. And let's not act like getting a new offensive coordinator isn't going to take some time to adjust in games, right? Like, that's going to take time. Tommy disagrees because he's from the U.
I don't think so. I somebody who was I listening to today? God, I don't remember, and I wish I do. But they were talking about exactly what you're saying about, like, having to adjust to a new system, new coordinator. But really, honestly, Ken Dorsey's been there now 3 seasons, so there's really him and Josh are already on the same. It's not like they're like on different page. He just came here, so I don't agree with that. Leslie Frazier's been obviously still our defensive coordinator.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, we added a few new coaches, but they're not the ones calling the play. So, no, I think everything's going to be as is, like it's been, but better. I don't see any like Ken Dorsey's not on the same page with Allen. They're having this, tug of war with calling. Like, I don't see that at all. I think that's the main reason why Josh Allen wanted Ken Dorsey back, because of the comfortable.
I don't disagree with you. My issue isn't going to be Josh Allen and Ken Dorsey not being on the same page. My issue is going to be Coach McDermott and Ken Dorsey not being on the same page, because the head coach affects the play calling, right?
Yeah, they've been together for years, but they've been together for years, all the way back to the Carolina days.
Correct.
So it's not like they don't know each other. They've been in the same building
system
for like what, 10 years now? Because it was like 5 years in Carolina and then the 5 years here.
Yeah. If anything, I think McDermott and Dable weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
If you really want to dive deep into it, especially last season. So, Mikey, great point, by the way. I totally forgot about the Carolina connection. Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, he got Cam Newton was playing his best ball under Ken Dorsey. Like, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, they are definitely on the right connection, or they would have reached out to another coordinator, in my opinion. Yeah. I think they're very comfortable.
I mean, they brought in two others that help him as well for the things that he doesn't know. They brought in Joe Brady, who was just the offensive coordinator, and then they brought in Mike Shula, who was an offensive coordinator.
Who knows everything.
In Carolina, he was an offensive coordinator, and Dorsey was his quarterback coach. And then we brought in Cromer, who's going to be our run game coordinator, who has been, with Sean McVay and all these other ones, and is always at the top when it comes to keeping his O-lines ready. So they've given him all the necessary resources to have us come out hot. I expect us not to have that.
So what you're saying right now then, is, Tommy, if we have a bad start, Ken Dorsey has nowhere to hide. It's all on him.
Oh, it's gonna listen. I don't know if it was this when we did our show, when we were asking, I think it was Friday Night Lights, who has who has the most eyes on whatever. I forget what the question was, but I said Ken Dorsey. Pressure. Remember? Yeah, the most pressure. I said Ken Dorsey because he's taken over a high-powered offense, an offense that people are gonna want to see good results, like we've been seeing under Dable. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Dable. So, if he gets off to a bad start or things aren't clicking or whatever, I definitely can see the fans getting on him quick, Twitter going crazy early on. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't.
Let's be honest. If we only score 38 points opening week, Twitter's going to be going nuts, right?
Tommy's going to lose his mind. Hey, let's go back. Joe, go back to that question that Dwayne put us up there. Because I think this is a great question. He says, but or a comment. It says, does Dorsey make the right play call and the right pressure? Here's what I'm expecting this year. This is Josh's year 5. I'm expecting Josh to get 2 plays coming into his headset, and Josh makes the right call. So if the play isn't right, I'm not sure it's going to be a Dorsey thing as much as Josh didn't check into the right call. So I have a feeling that he's going to get a lot more freedom this year than he has in the past.
Yeah, it's funny because that happens, right? As quarterbacks get older, they get more experience. That happens all the time. And every time I think about that, I remember 2 seasons ago, Tom Brady's first season with Tampa. I was watching a game, and they were going for a game-winning drive, and the camera zooms to Byron Leftwich, and I'm just like, Byron Leftwich is saying anything right now. Tom Brady is telling Byron Leftwich what we're doing, like that. But that's what's great about getting that experience, right? Now, my worries there is, and I think all 3 of us can agree, how many times has Josh Allen had an RPO and just taken off? Like, just said, it's mine. Before he even sees the defense, like in his head, he's saying, this is mine. And that's where hopefully Ken Dorsey can kind of check Josh Allen and be like, listen, if it's not there, that's why it's RPO, because we have options. So hopefully Josh Allen. And listen, we've seen Josh Allen grow so much over 4 years. There's no reason to think he can't do that, but that does concern me a little bit going
I
into this
think
season.
that's where Aaron Kromer is going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, Bobby Johnson didn't do a good job developing our young guys. Aaron Kromer has a long history of doing this. Prior to Bobby Johnson coming to us, he was always an assistant O-line coach. So he didn't have the head job. This with us was the first time. Aaron Kromer has a laundry list of teams and guys. Just talk to Eric. Listen to Eric Wood's podcast talking about him. He's like he's going to have those guys ready. I have a feeling Josh is going to have more confidence in his O-line that he can give the ball off to Singletary or Cook or whoever, and they'll be able to get that because it's not that running back versus the D line to where he felt I'm a bigger running back, I'm faster, I trust myself more. So I have a feeling that's where Kromer makes the biggest difference this year.
I like this question coming in as well. Should Dorsey be on the sidelines week 1 with Josh Allen or up in the booth? We saw a huge improvement in Dable's game play calling when Dable was in the box.
Always in the box.
So the only way I can see Dorsey being on the sidelines is if they put Shula in the box and they're having Shula relay what he's seen to Dorsey, and then Dorsey's making the calls based off of that information.
Because you don't want both of them in the box, right? You want one of them down there with Allen. So yeah,
Joe Brady will be down with Allen, but you want I would think that he's going to be in the box. I have a feeling him and Shula are going to be in the box, so he has someone to ping pong off of.
Sure.
And with Brady on the sidelines, I have a feeling that's going to be more of the play this year.
Okay. Tommy, you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah, 100%. You got it. You see the feel better up there. You can hear a little bit better as well. Than being on the sideline. That's another communication is better. Listen, if this was like Allen's second year, I would say, nah, you have to, Ken Dorsey's better down there. It can, talk to him when things are going bad. But it's like Allen is,
which by the way is what Dable did, right? Like we give Dable a lot of grief, but second year, that's why Dable loved being in the box. But Dable knew with the young Josh Allen, he needed to be on the field. Go ahead, Tommy. Sorry to interrupt. But.
No, yeah. No, he just to Mike's point about and your point about the RPO. Last season, actually, towards the end, I would say the last 3-4 games of the regular season, if you saw once the O-line started getting better, I think Allen started trusting Singletary a little bit more, and those RPOs he was giving them up a little bit more than he usually was. So, I expect with the addition of Kromer, with the addition of Saffold, Ryan Bates probably going to get better. Spencer Brown getting better. Yeah. Deion Dawkins 100% going into the season. I expect
a set type of run call. We're not going to run 3 different systems. We're probably going to run 2 at the most, and they'll be that was the problem is he wanted to be multiple, and he just kept changing the blocking schemes, and we didn't have guys for all those blocking schemes. It's like pick which one that fits with your best 5 and go with that. And we know that's what Kromer will do. Sorry, Tommy, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah. I mean, you pretty much wrapped it up. That's exactly what it's going to do. It's exactly what it's going to do, and it's going to not only that, it's going to prolong Josh Allen's career. Josh Allen has to dial back the running. He cannot have that many carries during a regular season and think you're going to last 10 plus years in this. It's just not going to happen. So
you look at
he'll like it. Trust me. He won't. Maybe at first he might still really because that's Josh. He might still want to do that, but he'll understand in time. It's best for him.
Yeah, I always think Cam Newton. Now Cam Newton had other issues off the field that led to injuries as well. But man, Cam Newton went from a 15-1 MVP season to less than 10 years later, he can't get on a team as a backup because he's just gone.
And he's a big shoulders. And he's athletic, big. Josh Allen. It wasn't like he was a lazy, No. Ben Roethlisberger not taking care of his body in the offseason. This guy was in shape, but bro, it doesn't matter. You take hit after hit after hit after hit. It's gonna take a toll on your body, and that's exactly what happened.
I think where we'll see the difference is I don't think we'll see as many called runs for Josh. I think Josh will still run when he scrambles and he has the opening, and he got better last year sliding. I don't see that draw 3 plays in a row like we saw last year over and over and over.
Right.
I can see them keeping the power sweep because that tends to work randomly. But McDermott's come out and said, and so has Bean in press conferences, we don't want him running like he has been. Like you get late in the year and in the playoffs, you unleash him. But we need to protect him from himself.
Yeah. I was sorry for laughing. I was actually remembering Coach Arian's comments after the Tampa Bay game when he's like, I wouldn't want my quarterback that much. And whenever he said, I was like, listen, you don't understand.
He got hurt. He got hurt that game.
And he kept running on him. And he just kept doing it.
Yeah. Hey, Hen Dog, good to see you. Again, guys, if you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, be sure to do that. Join us every other Friday during the off season up until the preseason. Around August, then Tommy and Mike will be back giving you tailgate talk every Friday night before games. And during the primetime weeks, they'll obviously switch the schedule up a little bit to get on here. And then join me every Sunday when I do, or every game day, I should say, for a live play-by-play. Going to be a great season. I'm excited. Like, here we are, May 20th. I don't want to see any news about the Buffalo Bills for the next 2 months, right? Nothing about people partying, no one kicking a window in a hotel, fighting for Jesus or whatever they're doing. None of that. I want to see nothing but the only time I want to see names in the news is for the next topic, rookie minicamp, right? Rookie minicamp just happened. And we saw all the rookies attend. And that that in itself is a good thing. The Buffalo Bills have signed all of the rookie draft picks, which again is another huge thing that all teams can't say at this point. So, guys, did you have any takeaways from rookie minicamp that you wanted to share with the nation?
No, not much. I listened to Matt Perino's the shout, and I was listening to them talk about it, and they said it's what you wanted to see. James Cook is fast. He can catch the ball. Shakir is as fast and twitchy as we thought he was. Kerry Elam is bigger than they thought he was, but he's as elusive as they thought he was going to be walking in. So hearing that they are what they thought they were going to be coming in is what I want. It's rookie minicamp. They didn't have pads on. They're playing against air. So,
Yeah. There's nothing here. Honestly, it's like this is just to get them in the building. To be honest with you, it's more about just get them in the building, do some walkthrough. Like not even. It's nothing. It's really nothing. Getting them used.
I think I heard Matt Perino say it was them getting used to how they're going to be coached in the NFL because all the rookies came out and said it's different from college to pros. Like the things that you got away with in college, the pro coaches are on you saying, no, it's all about technique. Mm-hmm. So it was learning technique during rookie camp.
Yeah. I don't know if you didn't get any notifications. We had some technical difficulties to get started this evening, but we appreciate that you're with us now, Jack Me. So glad that you made it in. See, I think of rookie minicamp, and the one thing to me that matters most about rookie minicamp is that first day. The first day, and it used to be Herm Edwards. I don't know who does it now, but they have that meeting with all the rookies talking about what to do with your money, what to do now that you're
the rookie symposium.
Symposium, right?
Yeah. That will happen in June after mini camps are over. It'll break, and then they'll have their little rookie symposium where they bring in the NFLPA and all the different people come in and all that stuff.
I know all the rookies sign, which is, by the way, always a good thing when you get that done. I hate when rookies hold out. There's always one guy, and then he misses some kind of part. I'm just glad they got it over with. Nobody, put up a fight on their, rookie deals. So that's a good sign.
We've had one that didn't sign before the rookie minicamps in the 5 years that Bean and McDermott's been here. You know who that one person is?
Go ahead. Who was it? I don't know.
Zach Moss.
Oh, was it? Wow, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
He ended up signing, but there was something in the first 3 rounds. You have something that you can negotiate. So he was negotiating like what he could in his rookie deal.
Right.
but he missed like day one of rookie minicamp.
And that's kind of since the year after the Sam Bradford draft. That's kind of one thing that's great about the negotiations now, where like there's not a lot of leeway in your contracts.
It's all slotted.
Contracts. What's that?
It's all slotted money.
Right.
Where
it's
you
all slotted.
Go, it's all slotted.
So it's kind of nice in that regards where you don't have all these holdouts. I think the only thing that's negotiated is how much signing bonus there is compared to salary. So I think that's one thing, because I think Bosa didn't sign for a long time when he got a rookie deal, and I think that's something to do with that.
Dwayne knew it. He knew who the person was. I didn't give long enough to let him guess. And then he's like, "Hey, let us guess."
No, you didn't.
Let me guess. Yeah, come on, Mike. Don't get him hyped like that. Hey, Vlad, good to see you in the chat.
The real question was for you two, but I guess I could have posed that question to the chat too.
You knew that Tommy and I didn't know anything. You're right. Like,
I didn't. I really didn't know that.
When you said it, I remembered that that he held out. But I wouldn't have been able to pick out who out of all the draft picks held out.
The one is the one guy who really hasn't panned out yet.
Well, I mean, we've had other draft picks not pan out. Cody Ford. So,
you know what? At least we got a full season out of Ford at right tackle.
We did.
We've seen Ford more than we've seen Moss.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm still in the camp that's too, like, you don't want to give up on the player too early. Mm-hmm. And I do want to see what Cody Ford does, in training camp this year, maybe in preseason, see if he's grown even a little bit more. I know we gave up some capital for him, and I know that he has not really panned out the way we wanted to so far. But I think there's still plenty of room for growth. He's still young, younger than all the three of us. So, but yeah, I think all of us would be.
Yeah, I'm old, dude. I'm all gray. I'm old and gray. Everyone's younger than me.
Do we start Cook right away or wait until midseason? Well, no one's going to start right away. Right? The only player that might start right away is the first round draft pick. Cook's not going to start right away because Elam
is starting right away. That's 100%. I can promise you. Cook is not going to start, but he's going to get snap counts. Now, they're going to be less than Singletary for running, but he might be there on more of the passing down situations in Singletary.
That's an interesting question then. So you think Moss is going to be on the week 1 roster?
I don't know. I'm talking about Cook. I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. Well, I think they're interchangeable.
I think Moss will be there.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with Mikey, but
if you think Moss is going to be there, will they put Cook on their opening? Like, will they have 4 running backs going into week 1?
No. I think Duke Johnson will end up either getting cut or traded or something along those lines.
But I'm talking about Jones, right? Jones is there for special teams.
Oh, you're not talking about the roster. You're talking about who suits up week 1.
Right, who suits up week 1.
On the active roster, okay.
Yeah.
Tyrone Jones suits up. I can promise you.
Right. Tyrone Jones suits up.
I'm not sure Tyrone Jones makes this roster.
Really?
We brought in Benford, who is an elite gunner out of college. He's fast and he tackles. So I don't guaranteedly put him, like he's in pin on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
He's expensive.
I disagree. I think McDermott absolutely loves his special team players. He does. Look how long he kept Makavich or whatever.
He's still here.
Yeah, exactly. So Tyrone Jones is one of the best to do it, in my opinion, on this. Like, he's been very good.
Yeah.
And they signed him to a 1-year deal. I think he stays. I don't see him being like one of those roster. I just don't. If anything, Duke Johnson would be one of those guys that probably could get cut. But don't be shocked if Moss either gets traded or cut either. We're going to see how preseason goes, because Moss, his average has been terrible. I mean, let's be real, 2.3 or whatever it is. That's unacceptable. Like, that's not good. So he's going to have to show something in preseason, because if Duke Johnson outperforms him in preseason with this new offensive line, there's a problem. You cannot have Zach Moss going into the regular season getting outperformed by Duke Johnson. You can't do it.
I just don't think I think Cook obviously he makes the team, but I just think he's going to be inactive week 1. I don't think he's going to get. I
You don't think
mean,
James Cook is going to be inactive week 1?
I think
No
James
way.
Cook's going to be inactive week 1. Absolutely.
No
Look
way.
but look at what Coach McDermott's done with our draft picks, right? I mean, Boogie Basham was inactive week 1 last year. Epineza was inactive week 1 the previous year. Epineza was a second-round draft pick, but still, I mean, you have to, when it comes to McDermott, you have to earn your slot. You have to earn your time, and he's always going to give preference to the veteran guys, right? Always. That's just who McDermott is. So either if Moss makes the team, it's Singletary and Moss going to be active week 1, and you're not going to go into, I mean, you can, I guess, if you like his receiving capabilities, but I find it very hard to believe they'll go into week 1 with 4 running backs.
See, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think Cook starts for sure, or he's dressed up. He may not getting a whole bunch of snaps week 1 or during the first 6 weeks, but if you go back, if you really want to go back and dial back when Devin Singletary was drafted, they wound up cutting Shady, right? They signed Frank Gore. Frank Gore was actually the lead back going into, I think, the first 4 games, but Singletary still was on the roster and still was playing that game. And by the way, he helped us win that Jets game.
So,
but
he's
going to play. He's going to play. I would be shocked because listen, Joe, he is what he gives what all the other running backs don't right now, and that's that speed, take it to the house, dynamic that unfortunately Singletary can't do. Which I love Singletary, but he can't do that. And I think just having him in the game, getting used to Josh Allen early on. Yeah, bro, you can't just slot him in here and there and expect him to do something. I think you definitely need. He's a change of pace than Moss. Like having Singletary and Moss start week 1, I think is a mistake because they're both kind of similar. You got to have that dynamic kind of back that can catch out the backfield.
But you kind of what you said in your example is the Bills cut McCoy, and what I said is if Moss is on this team. So if they cut Moss, I agree, Cook's on the team, but active week 1. But if they don't cut him again, I think McDermott gives preference to the veteran guys.
Well, let's go back to when Moss was drafted. When Moss was drafted, he didn't sit out the first few weeks. They sat TJ Yeldon. They sat that veteran.
Yeah,
now, because what you're comparing is a skill position player like a running back to a D end. McDermott usually sits those younger D ends because he had Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison and they rotate to where when you bring Cook in, he's a weapon, and you line him up today. He's one of our best 5 weapons right now on our team. Yeah, so if McDermott goes in and sits him week 1, I think that's more of an indictment on Cook rather than saying, okay, young man, go earn it. That means he did something wrong and he's in the doghouse, and we should be worried.
Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with Mikey. You got listen, Joe. They drafted him for a reason. That
be
early
the missing piece.
Right. Listen, it's already shown you in the offseason. They try to get McKissick.
Yeah.
Right. They want that running back that's a pass catching running back. They couldn't get McKissick because what happened, and they went out and got Cook. Like, there's no way that he's just going to start the season and be like, hey, we're going to skip what I wanted to do. Like that. That's what they wanted. That's why they drafted Cook. He's going to be in there week 1.
Scott Blake says maybe Moss can hold, right? Because we're not sure. We're not sure if we're the right holder.
Can you imagine?
Oh God, that's great. But no, this was a great topic though. When you start talking about, knowing our last few years, our second round pick, hasn't been active, but our third round pick was, I look at more position. I look at more position than I do round, and looking at that running back room, if Moss and Duke Johnson beat Cook out, I think that's more of an indictment on Cook, and maybe we shouldn't have been as high on him as we are.
He was a
I
second,
don't see it
actually,
happening.
Scott. Cook was a second round.
Yeah.
We traded back twice. You're right. Yeah, we traded back twice, and then we got Cook.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just one of those things of I just can't see him not beating out one of those guys. Now I do agree with Tommy, and Singletary's gonna get the majority of the reps.
Sure.
And they're going to work him in slowly because you have to remember, as a back, you have to prove that you can pick up the blitz, right?
Right.
And that's the one area that they've talked about is that he needs work on. Granted, he'll go over to Aaron Cromer, and Cromer will teach him, hand placement and things like that because that's what he does. But as long as he can pick up the blitz, he'll be playing week 1.
Sure.
Yep.
Someone came in, Dwayne came in and asked me this question. Joe, answer this, please. What player is more dynamic and a scary run back, Cook or Moss? That's your answer. Here's the truth. We don't know how scary Cook is in the NFL. We don't. Moss was very scary in Utah, right? Like Moss was a very scary back. That's why we took him. And we were all excited about Moss back then. Moss gives us something different than Singletary. Tommy's like, no, I wasn't. I
like the pick. Like I was like, okay. Like I understood it, and I wasn't hating on Zach Moss, and I like what he did on film, but it hasn't carried over in the NFL.
Sure. But what's
he's been hurt. He's been hurt,
No, but it doesn't matter. Even when he's been when he's been healthy,
his rookie year, he actually had some really good runs. Year 2 is he didn't before he got hurt, like he was coming on that first year when he got hurt.
I got you, but I think his vision has been the problem.
Couldn't you say the same thing about Singletary? Look at Singletary's first year compared to his second. Everyone was down on Singletary after his second year, and now last year he turned it back up, right? He gets back going. What's to say Moss can't do the same thing, A, and B, who's to say Cook will be, again, this dynamic player that he was in college? Now, what I like about Cook compared to Moss is the level of competition was just a little bit higher for Cook compared to Moss, right? So that he's played against the best in college. A lot of these players he's played against in college did go pro. Think about what Cook did in practice, right? Cook went up against a defense that had 7 players go in the first 2 rounds or something, like something ridiculous. So that he's been battle tested, which is something you can't necessarily say for Moss coming into the NFL.
Yeah, there was
so to answer your question,
15 total Georgia players drafted.
Yeah, that's insane.
Ultimately, Tommy didn't answer the question because it was who's more dynamic, and we went a long way around, and Moss was never considered dynamic coming out.
Right.
Moss was considered a tough, hard-nosed runner who has good vision and will be able to hit holes.
It wasn't my question.
Yeah, it was Tommy's question. It was mine.
Yelling at me.
Yeah, I didn't answer the question.
Whoever question was too.
Tommy's the clear.
Whoever question was too. Ultimately did get answered. Because
just think about what Moss said, after he was drafted, he's going to make players make business decisions, which he hasn't done. Like, I haven't seen
only a couple times. Times.
Like, I haven't really seen him do that on a regular basis, which he said he would. So I would love to see, to me, if Cook is active week 1, that means he's earned it, and that Coach McDermott and the rest of the coaching staff believe in him. So I want that. Like, I would love to see that. And again, as Tommy said, and I think we all agree, this is definitely more of what the Carolina Panthers had a few years ago with Williams and Stewart. Williams and Stewart. Like, you have your Thunder and your Lightning, like 2 definitely totally different backs. And so it's very exciting. Very exciting to see.
Jacobs and Tiki.
Yeah, right.
What you could see down the road, because more than likely Singletary will not be back. I hope he is, but he probably won't be. But what you could see,
I got Tommy to say that. This is the first time I got Tommy to actually say it.
Well, he probably won't be. I mean, talking about money, I understand that part. But what I could see is Cook taking that RB1 spot, and if Moss can get where we thought he could get when we drafted him, he could be that second that third down back, that goal line back, that the in between the tackles kind of runner that we were hoping to get when we drafted him. And then, and then Cook, because the one thing about Cook too, which is awesome, is he hasn't had a lot of carries in college. He's coming in very fresh. Singletary came in with, that's why they called him the motor, right? He had a crazy amount of carries, and so did Moss, right? So, that's one good thing about Cook. He has a lot of shelf life left on those legs, man. He just needs to bulk up a little bit. But I could see that happening down the road. But this season, Joe, I really truly believe it's going to be Singletary primary back. I think Cook's going to be that he's going to be in there and pass plays a lot, screen plays a lot, and possibly Moss will be on the third down, the goal line situation, the short yardage plays that we weren't getting much out of him. We'll see what happens, because we don't have a big back right now for that. We don't. He is the guy. That would be.
So you have a.
I don't want Josh run up and I don't want it. Yeah.
All right. We do have a $2 super chat and another question. So thank you for the super chat. And the question's simple. Are we cutting Jamison Crowder? Tommy, you're already shaking your head. Mike, I think all three of us are in agreement here. I know we're excited about the new stud that we got. We all know I am. I am very excited. But at the same time, Crowder's that veteran guy. You need that veteran leadership. And again, you want to see a 5th round pick. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 5th round pick, right? We got him in the 5th. Yeah, you want to see a 5th round pick, in my opinion, learn from a veteran guy like Jamison Crowder. Because like I said on draft night, or when we got Jamison Crowder, I did not realize that Jamison Crowder is younger than Cole Beasley. I just feel like it seems like every time we play the Jets, we'd win. Sure. But every 3rd and 8, it was like, there's Jamison Crowder. There's Jamison Crowder's open. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. So my buddy, by the way, Curtis, did some great stats on Allen today. If you guys got to check it out. He ace per head, Curtis. Very interesting stats, by the way, on Josh Allen. He did a Josh Allen video. But yards after catch, Allen was 17th in the league. 1743. That's one thing that Cole Beasley, and I love Cole Beasley. I love what he did here, but he wasn't very good at the yards after catch. Crowder is excellent, in my opinion, at yards after catch. We all know this. He's dogged us every time we played him. So no, you 100% Crowder's on this team. We got him. Number one, we got him as a steal. That was most people. If you look at any of the offseason grades, they got Crowder, for the Buffalo Bills as the steal. We stole that signing. I would hope
underrated,
very, very underrated sign. I would hope maybe we even give him another year if he wanted to come back, because I think he's that guy. He's still young, young enough, and he's here. He's here.
Yeah,
but the yards after catch, by the way, that has to improve.
Yeah. So if you think about Crowder pre-Jets days, he was in Washington with Kirk Cousins.
Right.
So think about the quarterbacks he's played with. He's played with Kirk Cousins. He's played with RG3. He's played with Sam Darnold and that clown class over there in New Jersey of quarterbacks. So now he gets to go and actually play with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So and he's been an elite yak monster for bad teams.
Right.
Now he's coming to a good team. Where most of the defensive focus, when you had to focus on a wide receiver, was on Crowder out of the slot.
Yeah, yeah.
Now he's sitting behind. He's sitting behind Diggs and Davis and Knox and all these other weapons where he's no longer the focal point. So no, I don't think Crowder is going anywhere. I think this is going to be Crowder's best year he's ever had, actually.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. To answer Hen Dog's question, he's 28 now, like Time said. He'll be 29 by the time the season starts. He actually has a birthday coming up. So everyone wish Jamison Crowder happy birthday on June 17th. There you go. And then Daniel agrees with you, Mike, that Crowder will have a career year. We're going to talk a little over and under in a second here, and I think that would be something that we can talk about. Let me see this comment here real quick, and then we're going to get into it. Mike, you have the questions for over and under, right?
I do.
All right. So again, yesterday, if you didn't catch it, go back, #sports. We have Paul and Mario giving their over and under takes over the same questions Tommy, Mike, and myself are going to be answering right now. So check theirs out. Maybe leave a comment and say, that's not what I heard from Joe, Mike, and Tommy. They disagree with you guys. Or
I absolutely disagree. It's the reason why I wanted to do this segment. I
guys,
absolutely disagree.
Every wide receiver.
Yeah, I missed it, so I'm glad. I'm on the neutral. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what
so. To be honest with you,
I was yelling at my phone. I'm like, what are they talking about?
To be honest with you, Tommy, I have not yet caught the episode. I got the notification.
All right, cool. So me and Joe going in.
This is why I will lead the segment and I will give my takes the last. But we'll start. Okay, so we'll move into the over under. So we'll start. Ed Oliver, 10 sacks. Tommy, over under 10 sacks this year.
That's tough, man. I'm gonna say under, but slightly. I'm gonna give him like 8.5 to 9. It's gonna be close. I think he's gonna have a very good season. That's a good season, by the way.
That is a great season.
I'm gonna say 8 to 9, which is really good. But listen, you got Von Miller there. He's going to flourish under him. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue we have right now is that we have a lot of really good, in my opinion, defensive players. Now, if you asked me how many sacks were due to Ed Oliver, I would say probably over 10. But I don't think Ed Oliver gets all of those sacks, right? I think Ed Oliver might draw a double team here or there. I think Ed Oliver is going to draw some attention to him as well as Von Miller is going to draw some attention to him. And we'll get some of the young guys to get those sacks. But, I look at snap count. I pulled this up real quick. He only played 58% of defensive snaps last season, and that goes 54%, 54%, 58%. So I think for that reason, I'm going to go under. I think we're talking 6 or 7 more than 8 or 9.
But I can see that too.
That's where I'm at. But again, if you tell me how many sacks did the people around him get because he drew some attention, I think that number's over 10.
Yeah, I think he was close to that number last year, over 10. Some of the chats before I give mine, Hendog said push. He thinks he lands at 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Daniel Gari comes in and says 8. Scott Blakely says under at 9. I'm also under on this one as well. And I think it's much like what you guys have talked about. It's due to snap count. I don't think he's going to have enough snap count, percentage. If he was playing 70% of the snaps, I would say he has a chance at 10.
Right.
But he plays 60, 62. I think he'll get, 7, 8, 9 of them this year. I don't think he breaks the 10 mark.
But could it snap? But to answer that, to counter that, could his snap count go up now that he's entering what is his 3rd season, 4th season?
But you know what I mean? Remember, now have. I don't think so because we now have Jordan Phillips backing him up.
Right.
The last time was here.
Yeah.
Had that, and then on the one tech, the rotation is so much deeper this year at D tackle than it has been in the previous years.
No, you're right.
See him play more, it would have been then.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I can see it.
If the only way I think Ed Oliver gets an increase in snap count is if, let's say, week 1 he has 2 sacks and then week 2 he has another sack and a half or something, then you might see Coach McDermott and Leslie Frazier say, we need to keep this guy on the field as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But other than that, I just don't know. Throughout McDermott's history, throughout Leslie Frazier's history, they run a rotating defense.
They rotate a lot.
Just what they do. And Tommy, I know you don't like that for certain reasons, and I agree with you on your reasons. To be honest with you, I think that. But you also have to admit it does keep us well rested. And, I
think you're. I don't hate it. Absolutely not. I like it for certain players. Honestly, like Von Miller. He may not even like that at first because he said he prefers to be out there, blah, 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 he wants to be on every. But let's be real, he's getting older like Jerry Hughes. You got to really be smart with your body, turn it up towards the end when it counts.
Right.
Then you'll see more snap counts in the playoffs. But no, I don't mind that rotation. But at the same time too, though, you got to give some of these younger guys a little bit more. Look at the guy over at Dallas. Let's say if they were always taking him out, then maybe his sack count won't be as high. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think if you got a dominating guy who's getting to the quarterback, you have to leave him. You got to give him those snap counts a little higher.
And I agree with you from what I heard about you about the aspect of there are some defensive ends who set you up all game long. I mean, all game long they're doing one thing over and over again. So in the fourth quarter, boom, they switch it up. That's what the best do, right? The best defensive ends. That's what Bruce Smith did his whole career, right? Like he set you up all game long. So in the fourth quarter, when you needed that sack, he's got you. Like he's got you. So Mike, since Tommy and I did not watch the episode, I know, and most people watch #Sports Motivation knows that normally when Paul and Mario do a segment like that, one will take one side, the other will take the other just for fun.
They were both under. They were both under.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all agree.
So Paul was at like 6, and I don't remember exactly what Mario's number was, but they were both under. Okay. So and I saw someone come in. Dwayne came in and asked about Rousseau over under at 7. I added your question to the end. If we have time, we'll get to it. Over under Gabe Davis 100 targets. Targets, not receptions.
Do you want me to go first this time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. See now, when Tommy goes first, it's nice because I can like Google something real quick just to get stats going. That's tough. I think with Ken Dorsey as the offensive coordinator, we're going to mix run a little bit more. So that will take some pass attempts away from everybody. However, I think what actually will end up hurting that question is how Davis played in the Kansas City Chiefs game, right? 4 touchdowns when they were just double teaming Stephon Diggs or whatever it was. And I think that defense has caught on to that. So I see Jamison Crowder getting 50-some catches, maybe 70-some targets. Obviously Diggs will get his. I don't know. I think that's going to be a tough number. I think it's going to be close. For argument's sake, I'll say over. But close, really close.
So you're over on targets.
I'll go over,
targets.
Right, targets, like 110, 115.
Because you have to remember, we lost Sanders and Beasley, and together that was like close to 200. It was over like 200 targets.
Correct. It doesn't take a lot to get, it doesn't take a lot to get 100 targets.
6 catches or 6 targets a game gets you over 100.
Right. Go ahead, Tommy. You go ahead.
I'm gonna go under. I just think there's so many different options for Josh Allen. They're going to be spreading the ball around a lot. I think Diggs obviously will go over 100. But just looking back, I listen, Gabe Davis last year, so I pulled up the stats. He had 63, right? Yeah. 63 targets. It will go higher than 63 for
targets or receptions? He only had 63 targets last year?
Targets. I'm looking
How many catches did he have?
Dawson Knox had 71. Receptions, Gabe Davis had 35. 35 for 63.
Felt like a lot.
By the way,
a lot more than that.
Yeah, no. By the way, a quick stat out there. So we were second in drops. Got to get that there too.
So what was Beasley's targets last year?
Beasley was at 112.
112.
Okay. Sanders
and
was
the
at
next
72.
guy was 72. So
and Sanders missed a couple games. So
right.
Okay.
He did. So I think I'm going to say under, just because listen, we got OJ Howard now. You got Dawson Knox. I think they're going to play a couple 2 tight end sets more often. You got James Cook, who's going to get receptions as well. Stephon Diggs is going to want to get the football. Now you got the contract. Even more. Like, trust me, like that's his guy. Dawson Knox, like I said, that's Josh's guy. He's only getting familiar, even more familiar with each other and what they like. So, no, I'm going to say a little under, but it's going to be better than his 63 or whatever he had last year. So, I think he's more around the 80 range, 70, 80 range, which is still very good, by the way, considering all the weapons.
Absolutely.
But under. I'm going to go under on that.
And I'm going to go over. I think he goes over by just a little. I think he goes like 103, 104, 105. I really do. Because although, yes, we have Cooks and we have OJ Howard and we have all these other
Crowder
and all those, I think Davis is going to be one of Josh's favorite receivers that he's going to look to this year.
I hope. I really do.
So ultimately, and then Paul and Mario split. If I remember correctly, they split. So the next one was Hyde Poyer. 10 interceptions combined.
Tommy, you go first this time.
That's a tough one. They don't intercept that much, and 10's a pretty good number. I'm going to say under on that. We're not a high interception team. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think we're like up there in team stats on interceptions. So I'm just going to say under just because of that alone. Maybe combined 7, 6. Okay. I'm going to say under.
Again, since time went first, I was able to look up some stats. So they actually hit 10 they both had 5 last season. So they were at 10 last year. A lot of people saying under here, Hendog, Rutu. A lot of people saying under. I am going to, and people aren't going to like this take. I feel bad. People aren't going to like this take. I'm going to go with under, but my reason is because I don't see both them being on the field for 17 games next season. I think one of them goes down at some point, 2-3 games here or there.
Oh, don't put that bad juju out there, Ricky Bobby.
By the way, Joe, I didn't know they had 5 each, but I still stick to what I said. We are a low interception team.
We are.
So imagine. So the next guy below them is Wallace. Wallace up 2. And then after that,
it's a bunch of ones. It's a bunch of ones.
Like that's not good. Like we need to get better at ball hawking more. And I'm hoping that, like Elam can be that guy that Levi wasn't. And maybe
as I think about this question, this might actually change my answer.
Oh,
this might actually change my answer.
Joe, you're getting roasted in the comments.
I believe you. I told you. What the hell's wrong with you, Joe? I actually might change my answer here because with Trey White being gone for some of the season, that opens things up a little bit more for those two guys, I think. Because I think quarterbacks are going to feel more comfortable passing the ball to number ones or trying to, and I think that might give them more. I'll still say under because that was my original take. So go ahead.
I will go over, and here's the reason why. We brought in Kaiir Elam.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change a lot of what our defense has done over the last couple of years. You have to remember, we played box safety and deep safety, and then cover 2. I have a feeling we're going to see a change this year, and they're going to throw in a few wrinkles to where we're going to run some man stuff when we can let them sit back and try to ball hawk and allow them to use their knowledge and their
I can see that.
Their instinct.
I definitely can see that.
So and knowing they both got 5 last year,
mm-hmm.
and I believe they both dropped a couple at throughout the year as well. So I have a feeling they're going over this year. I think from a defensive standpoint, I think our defense is going to be better this year. We're going to be more because you have to remember you also have Von Miller coming off to where they're not going to have all day to sit there, so they're going to be trying to predict stuff. The quarterbacks are, and Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer's going to be sitting back there to grab those quick passes.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. The past few weeks, I've been getting roasted a lot. They like you too. They could do without me. They're all right with me not being here. Like, Joe, stick to being the host. Don't give us your takes. No one cares. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, you know what? That's good entertainment, Joe. You bring the entertainment. No one wants to listen to two guys just always agree.
Right, exactly. And that's what you guys do. Every time I've watched Used to Together, Tailgate Talks, whatever it is, you guys always agree on everything.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we agree on everything.
Everything, all the time.
I never call Tommy on his crap, ever.
Never.
Oh, my
Ever. Tommy's crap. Because all Tommy's answers are wrong. He's crap.
Right. You are wrong.
Okay, we're moving on. James Cook, 700 all-purpose yards, over, under.
Over, absolutely.
You think over, and you don't think he's going to start the season?
Yeah, that's really weird, Joe. Yeah, that's a weird. He's going to have a hell of
a week 2 through 217. I didn't say he wasn't starting week 2.
700 all-purpose yards. That's over. A good one.
Tommy, over, under.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
All right, well, let me give you some numbers while you're thinking if you want. So looking at running back room. So last year you have Devin Singletary. He had, I'm looking at all-purpose yards. He had 870 rushing yards and 228. Zach Moss had 345 and 1. So Zach Moss had what, 600 about? Maybe less than 600. So I don't know. I think that you could definitely see Cook getting more catches, obviously, and yeah, I like the over there. Maybe I'm wrong about the week 1 thing. Maybe Moss is on team, like I said.
Singletary had a little over 1,000.
Yeah.
All-purpose yards.
Yep.
I'm gonna say slightly over. Because it's gonna be I think it's gonna have more passing yards than rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be slightly over.
Okay, so we got people coming in saying over. Hen Dog's over. Scott Blakely over. Scott Blakely says offensive rookie of the year. And I will tell you, I'm going to go over. I've already told Tommy, I think he's going to go for 1,000 all-purpose yards this year. I think we're going to have 2 backs that have over 1,000 all-purpose yards. But I also think part of what James Cook's all-purpose yards are going to be is he's going to be part of, he could be back there doing some kickoff returns as well.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be the full-time returner because, as you know,
throughout
the year,
right.
we tend to switch guys up. Yeah. But I have a feeling you're going to see Cook doing some gadget stuff that McKenzie did on jet sweeps and stuff. Sure. I think he could be back there on special teams as well. I think he's going to have over 1,000 all-purpose yards, so I will go.
Dwayne says he thinks he's going to take over the number 1 running back position by week 5.
No. I don't see that. I do think he's gonna get better and better, and I think by next year he's going to be our RB1.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah. You have to remember, Singletary's good, man. Singletary has that ability to make you miss in a phone booth that our offensive coaches love. If Singletary ran a high 4.4, low 4.5, he would be a superstar in this league.
Yeah.
But because he runs high 4.6s, he just doesn't have that breakaway.
And he has not yet, and I keep telling it, he has not yet had a good offensive line to run
with.
Not once. Not only that, not a good coordinator who gives him the opportunity to run. Let's be real. There was games, Joe, Mikey, there was games we had this season where the announcers going, man, they only ran the ball 1 time all half, or they ran the ball.
Or they haven't run the ball yet, and we're going in around.
Right. Yeah. And they were like astonished. Like the announcer was like, what is he doing? So how is he supposed to get going when you didn't give him the ball 1 time? So I get everybody's like, oh, we need this guy, but you guys got to step back, look at the big picture and why he hasn't performed great. And honestly, for what he did last year, that's pretty damn good for considering all everything I just said.
Once we secured our O-line last year and brought in Ryan Bates, he took off.
I am a Dave hater. Somebody call me a Dave hater.
Yeah. You are a Dave hater. But at the end of the day, I don't see Cook taking over the starting job by week 5. If he does, it will be later in the year. Because you have to remember, even when Singletary outrushed Frank Gore was still the starter and got the majority of carries. Even though everyone knew when Frank Gore came on the field, they were running power up the middle.
Right.
And he still started through most of the year. So I do think Cook's going to bring a new element. I do think by year 2 he's going to be our RB1. Unless for some reason they bring back Singletary. You have to remember, Cook and Singletary are training partners and buddies as well, which is a fantastic duo because it's going to be very unselfish back there. They're going to be rooting for each other to do so well.
Exactly. That's what I agree with Mike. Unless
stop agreeing with me.
Honestly, on this, I have to because listen, if Singletary were to come back on a team-friendly deal, which by the way, Brandon Bean gets those all the time. And let's just say hypothetically, those 2 worked out great, right? You got the thunder and the lightning, right? It just was a great 1-2 punch that, you take away Singletary, maybe it's not, you get the next guy in, it's not that 1-2 punch anymore, right? You never know. Why not bring back Singletary if he's willing to come back on a team-friendly deal? And he said, hey, I like it here. I'm staying here. I'll come back for this amount. And then Cook might be happy too. Hey, I'm good with this role. This is what I like to do. And it just works out great. I'm hoping, but we'll see.
I think that there's no reason why you can't have both of them in the backfield or both of them on the field at the same time.
You can't. Oh, dude, that's absolutely that's dangerous because you never know what's going on at that point.
That's right.
You have no idea. That's the fun part of this offense, Joe, coming up. You have no idea.
Now a two tight end set with Cook and McKenzie, or Cook and Singletary in the backfield, or Cook and McKenzie. You have two tight end sets, so they bring in three linebackers. You have Cook and McKenzie in the backfield. You now split them out. And now you're empty.
Yep.
Right.
Mismatch all day long.
What can defense do? Absolutely. What can defense do?
And Howard is like a wide receiver. I mean,
I know.
That's another. I mean, it's wild the amount of weapons that Josh is going to have to his disposal. That's why I was under, by the way, on the Gabe Davis thing, because it's just I just feel like there's so many options. And by the way,
there's only one ball.
That's right. And I will say this about Allen's growth, that he wasn't doing his first two seasons, which he's starting to go through his reads a lot better. He's starting to throw the ball to somebody that, like, hey, okay, if it's not there, give it to Singletary, give it to this guy for 5 yards, let him do the rest of the work. Like, he wasn't doing that.
Take the check down. He wasn't.
The check down. Yeah, like he was. He always wanted the bigger play or run. So, like that. It's just a lot of weapons for him, man. A lot, and he was doing that last season.
Yep. No, I don't disagree with that. Okay, we're moving on. Dane Jackson, 7 starts. Over under.
Jackson 7 start. No, over. That's over. I'll go with that.
So you don't think Trey White's coming back?
Yeah,
7 start. Yeah, listen, Trey White, in my opinion, is going to miss the first 7 weeks, which is first. I think he's going to be on the pup
list.
That
would be 6 starts. That'd be 6 starts.
I understand that. I think he's going to miss a 6, and that doesn't necessarily mean that Trey White comes back like they week 8. He's every play. I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, I didn't say games. I didn't say games. I said starts.
Starts, yeah. I think Dane Jackson could possibly get over that. Yeah, why not? That's not a crazy amount. That's not a crazy amount. 7? That's I think he can get 7. And you don't know what's going to happen down the road. The guy could get hurt and he gets
Wait, no, don't say that. Don't say that. I said that and people freaked out.
Listen, I'm talking about
that bad juju out there, Ricky.
Listen,
there's hamstrings. There's hamstrings things.
Hey, stop it. Don't put that juju out there. We're going to be healthy all year long.
I think over 7. I think
okay.
Over 7.
Joe?
I'll give a push. I'll give a push on 7. I think 7 is a good number.
Okay. And I'm actually with Tommy. I'm over. Because I think we're going to actually have one where we come out on play 1, where we have four corners on the field. Sure. And Dane Jackson's going to be one of those guys.
There you go.
When we play Cincinnati, who has a killer receiving core, all those type of things, I have a feeling we're going to see Dane Jackson, because he can also play slot. Or they could keep him on the outside and move Elam when we play Kansas City over, Kelsey or something along those lines. So I have a feeling we're going to see him more as a starter technically. But he'll be the fill-in for Trey White until he's back, and then we'll still see him randomly against those multiple set wide receivers when they start. So
I'm waiting on that, Dallas, by the way. I mean, I've been waiting.
Yeah, we're all waiting on them to sign that.
We're
waiting. Dallas, don't say that in front of Paul, though. Don't say that in front of Paul.
Pim comes in and says Dane might outplay Elam and keep Elam on the bench.
No, that's not happening.
Wow.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I would be shocked.
Dwayne, always keep it fun, man. Always keep it fun.
Anyways, we'll move on.
No, I don't want to move on. I want to say right now that when I talked about a player on the Buffalo Bills getting injured, there was a 10-minute roast of Joe. Like a 10-minute roast of Joe, shut your mouth. Tommy just said something, and I got one comment, one person saying, Tommy, you're on my list, and that's it. Everyone else was like, yeah, well, who cares?
Well, everyone just expects Tommy to say crazy crap.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
He's got the beard. They're like, he's drunk. He doesn't know what he's saying anyway.
Yep. Mike will, remember this and call him out in the next show, because that's what usually happens. I'm like, Tommy, what were you talking about?
I know.
All right, so we'll move on. Von Miller, 13 games played, over or under? Games played.
Yeah, over. I don't see why
that's over. That's over. 13? I think,
gosh.
I think he plays 16. Maybe he missed the last game.
Go back and watch the hashtag in the car episode.
Okay.
I was screaming at my phone. They went under. They don't think he's gonna play 13 games.
Why? What,
Because they
injury?
think
Like
he's too
what they
old.
talk?
They think he's too
He's
old.
not too old.
That is not
not
all. I
old.
hate that narrative, man.
Do you what?
I
Oh,
can't stand that narrative.
Can
you imagine if-
keeping him,
can you
keeping
imagine
him
these
managing
guys-
his workload? Like,
Can you
Go back
imagine
and
these
watch
guys driving in the car when Bruce Smith was playing? He's too old.
Listen,
Bruce Smith would have never got the 200 sacks.
Here's
if it was
what-
for
here's
Joe
what-
and Paul, Mario and Paul.
Here's what drives me nuts about them saying that. Wait a minute, these questions are making Tommy and Joe wonder about injuries. Oh, all right. No,
yeah,
listen.
blame Mario and Paul. It's their questions. I'm just repeating it.
Here's my issue. So I remember last year watching their episode talking about how they wanted the Bills to go after J.J. Watt, right? Which I believe we made a phone call, but we just didn't get him. That's fine, right? But I remember Paul specifically saying J.J. Watt would love it in Buffalo because he's used to playing 70, 80% of snaps, and to have that rotation, he would feel very good about that. And they're not saying that about Von Miller, who, by the way, I believe is younger than J.J. Watt was last year.
No.
So I'll tag this somehow. I'll tell Paul to catch this part of the episode if he wants to.
Yes.
And I'm calling Paul out right now.
Doing? What is he thinking?
That's great.
What are
that
you
is great.
talking about? Like
that comment led to this segment because I was yelling at my phone. I'm like, oh God, I'm so glad I'm not in the car with them. That would not have been a fun conversation.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Listen, Von Miller would never have signed up if he felt like he was going to not play pretty much the majority of the season.
Would we have signed him for such a big contract if we're like, he'll play 3/4 of the season? That's fine.
Yeah, we'll give you we'll give you 6 games. We'll see what we can
we'll give you 120 million for just playing, the end of the year. Just play the end of the year. You're good, bud. Yeah,
to me, that's crazier. To me, that is crazier than Mario's 9-7 statement.
Now, if they would have said the age thing about snap count, I'm with that. I'm totally with that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. And I said the same thing. I did the J.J. Watt when J.J. Watt supposedly coming here. I said the same thing. He would like it here because of the snap count, the rotation. He won't have to be on the field all the time. And I think that they're going to do the same thing with Von Miller. But no, he's playing more than 13 games. They're crazy. I don't know what they're thinking there.
Dwayne says we're going to blame Paul for all your guys' crazy injury takes, and it works for him.
That's Paul's
fault. So, anyways, okay, their last question. I do have a couple more after this. Their last question was Josh Allen, 4,700 passing yards, over or under.
All right, you're gonna have to repeat that because I'm texting Paul as we speak to let him know.
So 4,700 yards.
4,700 passing yards, over or under.
Well, passing 44 last year.
Passing.
Yeah, 44 last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say it's going to be something like about close to 5,000. I'm going to say something like 4,950. Something like that. 4,900 to 4,950. Something like that.
I'm still texting Paul. So give me what was it? 4,700.
4,700 over under.
4,700 on 640. Well, last year it's 646 pass attempts. I'm trying to think. My issue is, do I see the pass attempts going up or down for Josh Allen, right? Because
Spit comes in and says, everyone's coming in and say Josh is over 5K, so why are we talking about 4,700?
Hey,
I love it.
Yeah. Why not?
But they're also, so here's my thinking, and I'll get to my answer as soon as I come up with one. Josh Allen last season. Josh Allen last season had how many rush attempts?
He had 122.
122 rush attempts last year. That's going down, right? Like that. There's no way he's rushing the ball 122 times.
100%.
Right now, some of those are going to go to Cook. Some of those are going to go to Singletary in the backfield. But you have to believe that some of those are going to be passing plays as well, right? So I'm actually going to say that his attempts will go up a little bit this year. I think he's legitimately and I think Vegas agrees with me right now, the front runner when it comes to MVP conversations. We talk about yards after catch going up hopefully this year with Cook and Jamison Crowder there. Yeah, I could definitely see him going over 4,700. I don't know if 5K is reachable, but I'll go with 4,900.
Exactly.
If you add the Yak guys that we think we've added, you're going to see Josh over 5K.
Right.
I am definitely over. Paul was like jumping in the car over. He was excited about this question. He's a 5K guy. I do agree. It's going to be over. I think he's going to get over just from the Yak yards alone.
Wow.
That's a great point, Mikey. Remember I was telling you about the Curtis? So all the Yak, right? They said because it was so low. If he would have had what like Mahomes did or Brady, he would have had like over 5,000 last season.
Yep.
Just on that and the drop pass, like something about the drop passes. It's wild, man. Like he would have had a hell of a year last year if it wasn't for such a low number.
Think about how bad he played against Jacksonville. And, he had 3 or 4 clunkers last year, too.
Oh, yeah.
Still hit 46.
I remember when people were in the chat going, Josh, I'm like, what?
All right. Without looking it up, because I just did, how many quarterbacks did over 5,000 yards last season passing?
I think Brady had over 5, right?
I think 2, right?
I'm not looking, but I think Brady and maybe Mahomes. I'm going to guess those two.
No, Mahomes didn't have it.
No, okay, so Brady for sure. Brady
did.
Sure.
Brady led the league in passing yards last year.
Right.
Yeah. I think there was only 2 that went over 5,000, if I remember correctly.
Rodgers?
I don't remember who the other one is.
No,
but I think
was it Rodgers?
No, it was not Rodgers. No. Am I going to let you guys keep guessing? I'll let you guys keep guessing.
The Bengals quarterback? The Bengals quarterback?
No, it wasn't Joe Burrow.
No, wasn't it Cousins?
Nope.
No way. I was going to say no
Cousins
way.
was close. He throws a lot there.
Cousins was not as close as
somebody saying Sam Darnold.
Cousins was under Allen.
Okay. Who was it?
Justin Herbert.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. They throw a lot there. And they have a lot of yak. And they have a lot of yak yards there.
But Justin Herbert only got over 5,000 yards by 14. Right? He had 5,014.
5,000.
Can I also say this? They're also in beautiful weather.
Right.
You're playing in a dome.
Right.
Just remember, Josh threw for 4,600 yards. Half his games were in rainstorms last year.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Like it's tough. It's a lot tougher playing for Buffalo, having that that many yards in November, December, January.
I knew there was 2. I just didn't know who the other one was.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Steve got it right
sense.
too. Yep.
Okay, so we have 3 more. We have 3 more questions. These are ones that were added. Josh Allen over under 47 passing touchdowns.
What did he
let's take a look at last year. 47 passing touchdowns for Josh Allen last
36.
year. Last year he had 36. Oof. Hopefully he has less interceptions. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna go with over. Yeah, I'm gonna go with over. Yeah, I think that again with the added targets, and I think there are gonna. I mean, I think every good quarterback gets these, but I think there's gonna be a couple of cheapies in there. Like kind of like Kelsey always gets those like cheapy, like it was a 2-inch
shovel pass,
right?
Shovel pass,
right. Yeah. He'll get a couple of those, but I think that's gonna help you get over. And at the end of the day, when you look at the touchdown numbers, it doesn't matter how you got them. I think he goes over.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying over under 40, right?
47.
47.
No one had over 47 last year. I'll tell you that much.
That's tough, man. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say under.
Yep.
By like 2. I'm gonna say he has 45 and like 10. 45 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, which is a beautiful season, by the way, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, doesn't have to be 50. So
I do think he's gonna go over. I think he's gonna have a 5K and a 50+ touchdown season because I agree with Joe. I believe he's going to have some of these cheapy little towards the end of the year. You started seeing them at the 2-yard lines run those options where there was that little pitch throw. He threw a couple of them.
More fun stats to throw your way. If Josh Allen gets 50 or more touchdowns, he'll only be the 4th quarterback in NFL history to do that.
Yep.
Peyton Manning has 55. Brady and Mahomes both had 50.
That's a tough feat, though, guys.
It's a tough feat.
I love Josh, I do, but it's easier said than done, guys.
But
like these are hella stats.
One thing to his advantage is that 17th game, right? Like, let's be honest.
No, exactly. Like, 100%.
But that's Scott Blakely. I love that.
17 games.
What's Scott say?
Scott comes in and says 50 touchdowns, 5K, and only 5 interceptions.
I love that.
He's going with a 5-5-5.
I love that. And if he didn't win MVP after that, I'd say I can't watch football anymore, to be honest with you.
Right. 100%. Okay, so move on. We have two left. Steph Diggs, 115 receptions, over or under?
115 receptions. So last year he had 103.
Yeah.
And the year before that he had 127.
Right. I get it, but what is it, over under what?
115. 115.
It's just so many weapons, man. That's where I'm getting at, man. That's tough. All right, I'm gonna say I'll go over. I'll say over. I'll say over by that.
Say over.
I'll say over by like 2. Honestly, like barely. Just because there's a lot of weapons. There's so many options. That's tough, though. That is a tough one.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, if you look at the list of wide receivers that have had back-to-back, because I think he had over 100 his last year in Minnesota. Might have been second last year. But anyway, but even 3, like, that's a short list. I can't pull it up. I'm sure it's a short list of wide receivers who have done that. And, Tommy talked about the weapons in Buffalo. Obviously, he's going to draw some doubles, right? Like, even though
can you double him anymore with all the weapons?
You can. You have to, right? It's kind of like it's kind of like Kansas City, right? The past few years, you pick your poison, and right now, Stephon Diggs is the biggest poison for defenses on our team, right? You had Gabe Davis prove it for 1 game. He has to prove it for more than 1 game before defenses really say, "Hey, we're going over to switch double on this guy."
100%.
You're going to double Dawson Knox or OJ Howard? No, you really can't. You can't afford to. You would love to.
Can you afford to double one player knowing that there's all these other weapons?
You have to. Can you afford it? No. That's why Kansas City was so good for so long. Like Hill was still doubled plenty of times, even though they couldn't afford. Kelsey was still doubled plenty of times. In fact, what many commentators would say is you pick your poison, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to. Like, that was the only way to do it. And you might say, can you afford to double? No, you can't afford to, but you're still going to do it because if Diggs comes out in the first half of a game and just starts burning you, what are you going to do? You're going to double him, and you're not going to get off that double, even if in the third quarter you get burned by Dawson Knox or whoever the case might be.
Crowder.
You're still Crowder. Like, it doesn't matter.
It's going to be one by one, and then each one of them starts burning people.
You're right, but you're still going to keep your double on Stephon Diggs because you know what he's capable of.
Going against the best corner on the team too, whoever he's going against.
Yep.
The best corner.
A tough schedule.
Doubled.
Yep.
It's tough, man. That's tough, Joe.
But you went over. I'm going.
I did. Yeah. I had a hard time saying it, man.
You went under, Joe?
Yeah. I went under. Scott says 125.
Yep, and I'm with Scott on this one. I'm over. I think he's going to get 125 because if you go back and look, I think he still had like 140 something targets, and he had 103 catches. Because there was a lot of like misses in there that Josh was high or what. I think they connect more. I think he'll keep right around the same amount of targets, but he'll have more catches like he did the year before.
Do you not see so the second half of the season we're still going to be playing in some tough weather. Like even at we're at New England, at Cincinnati, at the end of the year. We're not at we're not at LA at the end of the year. We're not the weather's going to be brutal at the end of the year. So
and the year that he in 2020, you got to remember too, like John Brown was hurt, right? So it was really him and Cole was the guy. So and Josh was just throwing at Diggs, like it was the Josh and Diggs connection.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't see that. Like it's still going to be that, but I don't know if it's going to be that to that extent. Like
I think he'll keep right around the same amount of targets he had last year. I just think the connection, because there was a lot of misses on missed timing. I think that's going to shrink, which is going to lead to his receptions go back up over 115.
Yeah, I mean I got it slightly over, so yeah. I did say over, but I mean slightly, bro.
Yep.
Slightly.
Okay, the last one I have, and this came from the chat. Gregory Rousseau over under 7 sacks.
That's tough, and I love Rousseau.
I believe this one came from Dwayne.
See, what I would love to ask, when I saw this from Dwayne, what I would love to ask, instead of, because we had the Ed Oliver one, now we have this one, do we see the Buffalo Bills getting over 42 sacks this season total? Because we had 42 sacks last year, which was 11th best.
We're going to be over. We're going to be over that.
100%. We're going to be over.
Okay.
100%.
I think Von Miller's going to get about 37 of them by himself.
Listen,
in 13 games or in 12 games.
Listen. Jordan Phillips is a quarter. Jordan Phillips going to get to the quarterback when he's in there for sure. Like he causes havoc. I think, and I guess I'll answer that question real quick. Gregory Rousseau had 4 last year. He's only getting better. Von Miller's going to listen. Von Miller's going to get that quarterback going the opposite direction, and guess who's there? A freak athlete who's super long. He's gonna catch him. Who has speed, everything. Like Rousseau, for sure. I think he gets at least. I'm gonna say 8 to 9 sacks. I think he's gonna have a very good year.
Okay. He's over.
Sophomore year. I'm gonna go over on that. But as a team total sack wise, Joe, I think 100%. I think we're gonna do a lot different actually this year. I think McDermott and Frazier.
I think we're gonna be in the top.
I think we're gonna be a little bit more aggressive than we have been going after the quarterback. I think Ed Oliver's sacks going up, like I've said earlier. I think Von Miller's sacks is going to be decent.
Remember, we're also playing with a new one tech who has been elite in this league for a while, and Daquan Jones.
Dude, they're going to open up. Yeah, dude, they're going to be pushing back that line. You got some big Tim Settle as well. I mean, you got Shaq Lawson as well that can get to the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of options. Don't forget AJ Epinesa. He can get to the quarterback if he gets up.
He just missed a lot last year.
I was gonna say the same thing. He just missed so many sacks last year.
You would see him go back and watch some of the stuff. In that even in that divisional game where we lost to the Chiefs, he missed Patrick Mahomes 4 times by just a hair.
Right.
Was it me or when AJ hit you, a quarterback? Dude, that dude would hit. Oh, you do not want AJ Epinesa hitting. He would put you when he hit Tua, that was a wrap.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, was that week 2?
Or when he hit the rookie in Fields when he jumped over the dude.
Oh my gosh!
Remember that one? When it looked like the movie jumped over the linebacker and smashed him.
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah,
that parallel.
He just has to. He just has to keep getting.
I think
better. Work with your coaches.
Joe, over.
For the exact same reason I talked about when we talked about Ed Oliver, and I think for what Tommy said, Ed Oliver is going to be taking. There's so many guys in the middle of that. We talk about the one tech guys. We talk about Ed Oliver. We can talk about all. They're going to need so much attention that these edge guys. Jerry Hughes is probably a little jealous right now. He understands he's not in Buffalo anymore, but he's probably a little jealous right now because when we had Jordan Phillips before, Jerry Hughes did a lot of damage, and I could see that happening with our edge guys again. I think Scott and I think you guys. I would be surprised if we're not, and this is probably Bills fandom talking, if we're not top 2 as a team in sacks total next season.
I'd go top 6. I think top 6. But I do think we're going to get a lot better. That defensive line could be scary. If they play to their potential, that defensive line is going to be scary. And I'm also over on Grote. I think he actually gets probably 9 this year. Just misses the double digits because he just missed a couple last year too. And now he's going to learn from Von Miller. So he's a ball of clay as it was coming in because he's only played the position for a couple years, and now he gets one of the greatest pass rushers ever. And imagine this, in training camp, he's going to have Bruce Smith and Von Miller teaching them counters and what to look for.
Yeah. And by the way, guess who else Von Miller's teaching? The offensive line, who's going after it every day in training camp. Spencer Brown's going to learn a little something, right? Deion Dawkins is going to master his craft a little bit more. Like, this is awesome. Ryan Bates, 100%. So, like, everybody's going to pick this dude's brain and just get better on both sides of the ball, man.
Imagine, Von Miller teaching those little tricks to Ed Oliver and his explosiveness as well. Yeah. So when we go to the 10 sacks over and under, I think he gets close to it as well. I think we're gonna have a bunch of guys between the 7 and 9 this year.
That'd be great. Oh man, guys, I was just
Pam comes in and said, Are you saying Von Miller's gonna make Cody Ford elite? No. We're saying if Cody Ford becomes elite, we're saying that's gonna be Aaron Cromer, not Von Miller. There was a question in here. Came from where did it go?
What, Dwayne? Are you talking about Dwayne's question about 50 TDs and 50 sacks?
Yes. Yes. Can anyone answer this? Last team with 50 TDs and 50 sacks. Are you saying 50 offensive touchdowns? Like quarterback?
Yeah, I would think that'd be a lot.
But but is he just talking quarter? Because 50 touchdowns on offense, that's probably was done last year by the Steelers, but the Steelers have great offense. But are you talking about just passing touchdowns from a quarterback?
Oh, that's true.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either. And that's a tough one.
Yeah, if they're talking about like a quarterback throwing 50, I don't know if Tampa Bay got 50.
That's probably what he means. I think that's what he means.
But if I believe Kansas City had 50 the year Mahomes threw 50. Because they were.
I was gonna say there's only 3 quarterbacks to throw for 50, so you look at Tom Brady at 55.
And I don't think the Tampa Bay had 50 plus sacks last year. But I think it was the Chiefs who would have had it the year that Mahomes threw for 50.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, Denver threw. Peyton Manning.
So it's Peyton Manning. It was the Denver team. So Mahomes didn't have 50.
Sure.
The Chiefs didn't.
That makes sense. That Denver team was on point.
With Von Miller.
Yeah. And they had a bunch of They had a bunch of guys over there. I forget the other guy that was next to Von Miller.
DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware. That was a beast. So.
See, every time we remember that team, though, now I'm always going to remember, rest in peace, Thomas, right? Maris Thomas. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Super Bowl was the year that Cam Newton dropped the ball and made a business decision not to reach in and grab it.
Yeah, dropped the ball and then
a lazy business. I don't know what the hell he was.
Well,
business decision. I ain't going out of that.
If he goes after that ball, though, he potentially could really hurt himself. Just by the way, like watch that play again. And I'm not saying it was the right call, wrong call, whatever. I'm just saying, like, if you watch that play again, the angle in which he's angled when Von Miller or whoever goes to jump on, if he tries to jump on the ball at that same time, it could potentially, I'm not saying it would be, but it could potentially have been like a Joe Theismann type injury, like the way just he was angled and if he got hit right. So do I think that he dropped the ball literally and figuratively there? Yeah, because you just can't assume injuries are going to happen even to yourself, right? Like you just can't do that. You can't play that way.
Part of what made us love Josh Allen so much. He reached in there, grabbed it, and then ran over 2 guys as he got first down on Thanksgiving.
Yep. So, guys, I just did the math. We're a little more than 3 months away from the start of the season. Hard to believe it. Part of me saying, man, it's way too long away. But part of me is like, it's only 3 months away. We can do this. And we're going to do it here together with the nation, with Tommy, with Mike. Appreciate you guys. We did some over-under. We talked about the schedule. We talked about rookie meeting camp. Had a great time doing it with you guys. Again, if you're not watching this live, you're watching the replay, make sure you hit that like button. Share this video. We had a lot of fun. Always have fun with #Nation. Mikey, Tommy, any last words before we end it for the night?
Is Mikey stuck?
Yeah, he just joined again, so let me get him on. So, Tommy, you first. What do you have to say?
Damn, Mikey is very
Mikey's
still
just chilling.
Mikey was just like a statue.
And now his picture not showing. Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
That was odd. It just like went black.
Yeah.
You still are though. I don't see you.
Yeah, you still are black. We don't see you. We can hear you though. Any last words for the nation, Tommy?
Yeah. Go Bills. I mean,
Go Bills. Mike,
that's
anything
it.
you want to say?
Yeah, go Bills.
Go Bills. That's what we want to say. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Scott, it has been too long. Join us in 2 weeks because who knows what's
Mike
going
is
to
in
happen in the next
hashtag
2
space.
weeks. Who knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks, but we know that we're going to have a great time hanging out with you guys for a little bit on a Friday evening. So thanks again for joining us. We look forward to talking to you all soon. Until we do, as Tyler McKidd said, go Bills.
Go Bills. I thought he was stoned out. Checks.
That's super odd. My camera is just like gone.